Can you guys hear me? Hope so. Today I'm going to try to throw live for you guys because you guys told me recently that you didn't mind seeing ceramics, and so I wanted to do that with you guys. But I just have to make sure everything's lined up. So I am going to attempt to throw a something, and I hope it will. You never know. But I do want to answer any questions that you guys have about it. If you do have any questions about it, it's not going to be a super long video, but yeah, I just really appreciate that you guys are so supportive of me throwing. Don't worry, you guys are going to be able to, I'm going to move everything in a second, but I want to show you kind of start to finish what goes on. Hopefully you can hear me okay. What's up, Jessica and Shelly and Donna? If you can hear squeaking in the background, it's because Canvas has her loudest toy, because why not while I go live? Let me switch that out real quick. If you've never seen our little puppy condo, it looks like this. And our little babes love it. Miss Ma'am, can I switch that out? Here's two things to chew on. Boop, boop. Thank you. We had this made for the pups because they like to see out, but you can't really see out because our windows are so high. Anyways, back to it. Okay. So Jeff bought me this wheel for my birthday, and I love it so much. What color clay do I have? Already cut. Brown. Sounds good. He got this for me for my birthday because in school, I super love throwing. And so now this is kind of my like meditation. I have no idea how this live is going to go because I've never talked my way through throwing like I have with doing resin. And so I'm not sure how this is going to go, but I hope it's going to go well. I know it's going to go well. I need to put this somewhere. That looks good. So yeah, Jeff bought me this wheel for my birthday. It is like $135, I think, somewhere in there on Amazon. If you're interested, I can link it for you guys, but I wasn't sure. This is a brown clay that fires to almost black, and it dries to like this color. And I think it's pretty, and I'm going to attempt to throw something for you guys, and hopefully it won't be a full fail. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Stephanie. Are you going to do something amazing? I hope so. Happy late birthday, Sweet Pea. So let me scoot you guys in. So you can see what's happening. Throwing clay is kind of a long process. What's up, B? I think I just want a wine. Maybe a Pinot Grigio or a Sauvignon would be amazing. Thanks, my love. So I'm trying to get this to where you can see everything. I'll scoot in further when important things are missing. What's up, Jessica? How are you? So Jeff set me up this little corner in the studio to throw on. And I use mostly a pretty easy to throw clay. Typically, it's called a B-Mix, and it's white. It looks and feels a lot like porcelain, but it's a lot less delicate than porcelain. But here lately, I've been really interested in doing some darker colors. And so that is what I'm doing today, mainly because I just have it, I already had it balled up already. I don't wedge anything, which is a term used for kind of kneading your clay, kind of like dough, in order to. Sorry about that. It was a call. And so, anyways, I don't know how to wedge really well. I always end up working more air into it than getting it out. And so I just kind of skip that part and just go straight to this. I'm impatient as well. This is kind of the ghost scene that everybody kind of always asks about every time they find out that I work with clay. They're like, do you and Jeff do that thing from Ghost? And the answer is no. When I'm on the wheel, it's kind of my time to just relax. It's what I do at the end of the day when I have a second to myself, even though we may be in the same room. This is kind of my relaxation. And if you're wanting to learn how to throw, the first thing you're going to have to learn is how to center your clay. Maybe I'll just start another channel, in my spare time, with just clay videos, or maybe I'll start a new playlist that's just focused on instructions on how to throw. But the first step is centering your clay. And that means pushing your clay as much to the center as humanly possible, or better than humanly possible, because if there's any wiggle at all, you will end up with issues down the line. So this little boring part that I've been working on since kind of we started is essentially the groundwork. It's the prep work for everything that you're going to do after this point. Did you guys want me to work in some of the other color clay, or just do the brown? Let's do just some of the other color, just so we can make it more interesting. Have you tried alcohol inks on clay pots? That would be so cool. So I have not tried alcohol inks on clay pots, but yesterday, with the leftover resin from the live yesterday, I did this. Let me turn a light on. I just kind of poured it over the top like people tend to do. And it took really well. I have some drips to take care of on the top, and I need to coat the inside of it. But I kind of love it. It seems like it's porous enough at the first fire stage that it's not going to give me any delamination issues. So I think it's a pretty viable way to paint ceramic pieces like that. I mean, obviously you wouldn't want to fire it again. No, it wasn't quick coat. It was actually just art coat, but it had already been working for an hour and a half when I did that. So it was not a problem to get the resin to go on there and stay where I put it. So when a lot of people, probably professional people, do multicolored clays, they'll wedge them together. I don't like wedging, like I mentioned a second ago. And so what I saw this um, artist on YouTube do is just basically take some slices out like I'm doing right now and then just fill those in, which at first I didn't even think was going to work because I thought for sure I would get an air pocket somewhere, but that did not happen. And it turned out amazing. And so it's kind of my new favorite look. And so what I do is just kind of slice out pieces with this tool. Focus. No, not going to focus. Okay. So just take some slices out with this. And then with the same tool, I'm going to take slices out of a different color clay. This happens to be a very white clay. And then I'm just going to start putting it in to those empty spots at a little bit of an angle so that I'm kind of pushing any air pockets that may have been there outward. So I don't have to worry about air pockets because that is also a big concern that can throw off what you're doing is air pockets. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad you like that resined vase. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, if it was going to work, but I'm glad that it did work. And I think I'm going to do more pieces like that. Like I mentioned the other day, I think I'm going to kind of be brave and move forward and list some of my pieces on our website, the ceramic pieces. I've been hesitant to do it because I don't think they're anywhere good enough to sell typically. You know, you're your own worst critic. That counts for me as well. And so I've been hesitant, but I think I'm just about to the point where I'm comfortable um, listing everything. It's still nerve-wracking. Every time you put yourself out there, no matter how long you've been doing whatever it is you do, it's going to be nerve-wracking. Because you never know how something's going to be perceived. Ever. Oftentimes, when Jeff and I do a show or something, our favorite pieces never sell. And the pieces that we thought um, it's kind of a waste to even bring this piece along always sells first. It's always the favorite. And I don't even know why I'm on that tangent. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying. So now that I have all of this here, let me do this. I can start throwing it. Well, I have to recenter it a little bit because now there's a little bit of a wobble. So I'm going to turn my speed a whole lot back up. Oh, another thing about this wheel, probably wouldn't be good for anybody that throws any large quantities of clay. I don't know how it would stand up to that. Like 15 pounds. So all this process is doing is just trying to work the air bubbles out and make sure all of the particles are kind of flowing in the same direction and are centered. It's about to get more fun, I promise. I just have to make sure everything is smooth and centered, which is a lot the reason why I think that maybe time lapse is the way to go for ceramic videos because it's just not fun to watch someone work clay around like this just forever. But I don't know. I don't know if it's as relaxing to other people as it is to me. Who knows? Yeah, it is always difficult to put yourself out there, especially when it's a medium like this, like ceramics, where it's not exactly like a fad, where um, like those pendulum pours for a while. I mean, if you do pendulum pours, it's amazing. Love it. Looks great. But it seems, I don't know, maybe it's not a fad, but I think those might be a little bit more interesting to watch than the long process of clay. But I don't know. I'm not on that side of the screen with you guys, so let me know. I want to do videos that you guys want to see, but also I want you guys to see that we do so many other things other than just resin, which we love resin. That's it's our main jam, but we do so many other things. What's up, Sandy? All right, now we can start doing other things. Like we got to confirm it's centered. If there's any wobble at all, it can throw off your piece. So now I'm going to open up a hole in the center of the piece in a minute. The top has a wobble in it still, so I'm trying to get that out before we move on. Sorry. This is kind of the time to do any fine tuning with getting wobbles out. Okay, much better. Relaxing like watching pigments mix into resin. Yeah, that is also super relaxing. Or what was the trend like? So addictive. I guess addicting to watch. For me, watching people do resin isn't as addicting as doing resin. So opening up the center, you have to go straight down. I use 2 fingers. Everything I'm doing is kind of just, I mean, I took classes, but it's still like kind of my amended way of doing things. I mean, you guys know, I don't even speak English properly most of the time. And so you'll see about as many artists as there are on YouTube. That's as many ways as you're going to see things being done. And I think that's amazing. I love watching different ways that people do things, people exploring their own style and their own techniques, whatever works for them to get the job done, you know? And I think it's super important to respect other people's styles and take time to watch them do what they do, because you can get so inspired just watching someone else do the same thing you do, or even like you guys that may not do ceramic things, watching me do this may inspire you to do something different with your work or try a new technique, and it makes you come up with your own kind of style. I want to see your journey with art. Well, Sandy, you are on the right channel. to see how my journey goes. I actually have a college degree in art, studio art, specifically ceramics. But then I also had a business degree and a dance degree and decided to go into sales. So I was in hospitality sales for a long time before I met Jeff. Well, I guess I met Jeff while I was doing that. And he really, really nurtured my artistic side and got me back into wanting to just art all the time. And so he gave me the courage to quit my grown up job. And so I did. And now this is what we do. Little Bunny, I know exactly what you mean. When you try to learn a new thing like ceramics, it can be, oh, and even resin, it can be so disheartening in the beginning because the hardest part about it is kind of the fundamentals, the basics of getting started. And so a lot of people give up on the process before you get to a place where you're comfortable enough to explore it really. Because I'm impatient. I want to be really good at something like the first or second time I try it. And sometimes I turn into a giant child and I'm just like, I'll never get it. If I can't do a triple axel the first time I figure skate, then I don't want to do it anymore. And that's not the best way to go about learning a new something, but it sometimes just is what happens, you know? I know I'm not alone on that, but I still try to be a super awesome figure skater from time to time when I'm in the snow. Or I guess on. Have any of you guys tried doing ceramics before? I mean, other than Little Bunny? So this is called pulling up the walls. This technique of pulling clay from the bottom of the piece through everything and depositing it where you need more clay. So if I want to make the bottom kind of more bulbous than the top, then I'll leave the clay thicker down here. But if I want to have the top come up and be more bulbous here, then I'll have to pull a lot of clay up and deposit it right here, which takes a little bit of planing, which is not my strong suit. I still don't know what kind of shape I'm going to go for with this. I kind of just wing it a lot like with resin, kind of see where it's trying to go and then roll with it there. Seems like the top of the vase is thinner than the bottom of the vase. So I think we'll make kind of a bud vase. You didn't do any resin pieces till I found our channel and fell in love with it. Jeff is the reason I started airbrush. Oh, that's amazing, Stephanie. That makes our heart so happy. Helping anyone find their love for art is kind of our favorite thing. So when I'm doing this, I'm pulling the water out of the bottom of the piece. If I leave it there, it'll create an S crack. And that's not good. You go to twice in high school way back, but our art program was way underfunded. We didn't even have an art program in my high school. The closest I got was I think pageants. Pageants may have been the closest thing in my high school to art classes. Dance team, maybe. So I'm running my thumb along the base in order to kind of create a lip down here for me to pick up clay and move it up through the piece. All right, this may be the last wall pull before we start doing some shaping. I lied, let's start doing shaping now. So I'm just pushing on the inside of the piece, whatever shape I want it to be in. And every time I get to the top, I'm pushing the rim down, because if you let it do what it wants to do, it's going to just splay open and centrifugal force is just going to wreak havoc on your piece. So that. You two are definitely the reason I had the guts to transition from acrylics to resin.
You said Solvang, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Mubby. All right, now since I'm kind of making a shape, I'm going to turn the speed of my wheel down a little bit, because the faster it turns, the more the piece is going to want to just go outward, because science, centrifugal science. So the slower it spins, the more control you'll have. And I have just this kind of card thing that I'm going to use to scrape the slurry off. The slurry is kind of just that liquid mud that's across the entire piece, and that gives me the opportunity to see what the design is doing as well. I love doing this part because I have no idea every time I do that what it's going to look like. So you got to remember as well, when this fires, it's going to be black almost, and then have stark white swirls in it. All right, let's finish fixing the shape. I like to use ribs for this. This is a wooden rib. They have metal ones, they have rubber ones, all used for different things. All right. I have to make sure that there's water going down my hand on the inside, because if your finger starts to jump as you're pulling your clay up, you'll be able to see that in the piece. And that's not cute. All right. So now I'm going to push out against this rib. Ooh, I'm loving it. Time like this where I surprise myself. I'm just going to color in this neck. Fix this shoulder. And bring up a little bit more clay so that the top of it can have a nice little, I guess, bell. I'm just getting the water out of the bottom of it for the last time. Oh, my bowls are perfect for queso. We'll make sure to put that in the listing. For all your queso needs. Spills. Don't mind Jeff and I, were just discussing our ads for the ceramic pieces on the website. So the harder you pinch your fingers together, the more clay you're going to move. And the opposite is true as well. I'm going to pinch this in a little bit more. And this isn't going to be the final shape. The final shape I will do when I trim it. And that will have to be tomorrow. This has to dry to a stage called leather hard. And that's just where you can like hold it, handle it without it caving in or denting in any way. I'm going to just get this slurry off for the last time. I also use this time to kind of reinforce any shapes that I can. Getting all this stuff off of here at this point just helps it to kind of dry better. And when you have just a whole bunch of water on it, you can weaken your clay. I mean, obviously. So doing this just helps it to hold its form better while it's drying. I mostly do this so that I can see what it looks like. I'm so excited. I make that sound every time I throw a piece and it doesn't kind of cave in on itself. So I don't even think Jeff reacts when I'm like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever made. Yeah, no reaction. So now I'm just trimming the foot away. This will help me later when I'm further trimming it, which I'll have to explain to you when I'm doing it because it wouldn't make any sense right now. I really like my vases to have kind of the Japanese feel where they kind of look like they're floating. And I will show you that in a moment. B, can you do me a favor? I need to wash my hands off. Will you show them my other pieces for the moment? Just take them to right there. So yeah, that's what this piece looks like right now. And tomorrow I will trim it. I need to wash my hands and I don't want them to just sit and stare at something. So will you just show them my other shapes for just real quick until I wash my hands and I'll take over. I don't know if you guys can hear Jeff, but I have the mic. So this is just some of my other vase shapes that I've done. And I don't know how great some of them are or whatever, but I know I had fun making them. And I think after I get these glazed, I'm going to list them on the website. Definitely not going to break the bank with what we're going to charge for them. It's mostly just, it's one of those like labor of love things that I'm going to do anyways. And so if I can just get like my investment for the materials back, I'm happy. Well, I'm happy either way because it's kind of my therapy. But yeah. Some of them I carve into, some of them not. Some of them look like a little squeeze thing that gets snot out of baby's nose, like this one. And then this one hasn't been fired yet, but I put a swirl in it. That one hasn't been fired yet, but I put roses on it. And this one hasn't been fired, but I did a lot to it. I got full artsy fartsy on this one. I keep breaking it, so I have to add. Anyways, but that's what that looks like. Thanks. So yeah, it's gonna be a little tea light holder.
You have fear of holes. Don't look at that one.
Oh yeah. If you don't like holy things, then don't look at that one. And then these are some of my favorite vase shapes that I have right here. And this guy for sure, but I'm not sure why, but I know for sure. I love it. I want to make this, but on a bigger scale, but I've never been able to do it. This is a dark clay that's already been fired, but the clay that I just used is going to be way darker than this. Anyways. Love the little bowls. I had a bunch of them from a Potter friend, but most are broken. Oh, well, thank you, Brittany. Yeah, Shelly, I love the coral one. I'm hoping it fires well. I'm scared to see how it will turn out, but this is what happens when Bowie won't play with canvas. She little sisters him till he does. Anyways, if you like this video, please let me know in the comments under the video. Leave me your thumbs, subscribe if you haven't yet, and come back tomorrow where I'm going to do what I consider the fun part, which is trimming. And then this piece will get fired, and then I'll glaze it, and then it'll get fired, and then I'll list it on the website. And so, thank you for being along with me for this little pots journey. Thank you, Donna. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, I'm going to make sure these two don't kill each other. Looks like they won't. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you for watching. Be kind to one another because you never know what someone's going through. And always remember, yeah, we do the test so you don't have to. Only time getting fired is a good thing. Yep. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.